The rehearsal dinner in Penticton looked exactly how a rehearsal dinner should look: long vineyard tables, soft lake air, wine glasses catching the last of the sunset. My family adored Daniel. He was composed, articulate, careful with words in a way people mistake for wisdom. My daughter wore that quiet glow I remembered from when she was little and proud of something she'd built herself. I kept telling myself she'd chosen well. Then she touched my arm and said, "Dad, can we talk?" We stepped away from the laughter into the hallway near the washrooms. Her voice was steady. "Something's wrong with the trust." I didn't react. Years in business had trained my face to hold neutral ground. "What do you mean?" I asked. "There's a clause that shifts full discretionary control to him if I'm temporarily incapacitated. It wasn't in the earlier draft." She swallowed. "He said it was standard." Standard. The word hit me harder than it should have. 30 years ago, I signed a standard agreement too. I didn't want to seem uninformed, so I let language slide past me. The loss wasn't illegal. It was precise, technical, devastating. I smiled when we returned to the table. I even raised my glass during a toast. But I watched Daniel differently after that. Later, I approached him casually. "I'd like to review the trust documents tomorrow morning," I said. "Just fatherly caution." "Of course," he replied. Smooth. But there was a pause, brief, measurable. "We're tight on time." He added, "We'll make time." The next morning, before the rest of the family stirred, we met in a small hotel conference room. My daughter sat beside me, hands clasped. Daniel arrived with his leather folder and a polite smile. I had made one call the night before. An old colleague of mine, Paul, now working in regulatory compliance nearby. He joined us without ceremony, nodded at Daniel, and began reading. The room grew quiet except for the turning of pages. After several minutes, Paul tapped a paragraph. "This clause transfers unilateral authority during temporary incapacity," he said evenly. "No trustee requirement. No third-party oversight." Daniel straightened. "It's a risk mitigation structure. Protects asset continuity." "It consolidates control," Paul replied. "Not inherently improper, but not neutral either." My daughter spoke before I could. "Why wasn't it in the earlier draft?" Daniel hesitated. "We refined the structure." I don't remember agreeing to that refinement. His composure shifted, not dramatically, just enough to notice. "There's nothing illegal here." Paul continued, "But fiduciary ethics require explicit consent. If she didn't clearly approve this adjustment, it shouldn't stand." No one raised their voice. No accusations were made. Yet the air had changed. The easy confidence Daniel carried the night before felt thinner under scrutiny. "What can amend it?" I said calmly. "Joint authority. Independent oversight during any temporary transfer. That complicates administration." Daniel replied, "Complexity is manageable." I said, "Ambiguity isn't." My daughter exhaled quietly beside me. By mid-morning, the decision was made. The trust would be redrafted. The wedding would be postponed until the revisions were complete. Breaking that news to the family was harder than the meeting itself. There were concerned looks, whispered speculation, subtle disappointment. Daniel's reputation had been glowing just 12 hours earlier. We kept it simple. Legal clarity required time. That evening, I stood near the edge of Okanagan Lake, watching the light fade over the water. My daughter joined me. "Thank you," she said softly. I nodded. "I should have caught it sooner. You trusted him." I looked out at the darkening horizon. "I've trusted the wrong person before." She studied me, as if realizing that this wasn't only about her. "Are you ashamed?" she asked gently. "Off the past?" "Sometimes." I paused. "Off today?" "No." The wedding wasn't canceled. Daniel agreed to the amendments. But something essential had shifted. Trust would no longer be assumed. It would be structured, defined, examined, there was no victory to celebrate. No humiliation. Just a recalibration. As we walked back toward the hotel lights, I understood that I hadn't erased my old mistake. That loss would always belong to me. But I hadn't repeated it, and sometimes, restraint is the only form of redemption we get.